total of 13, so 8 other ones.
And how many appointments since your last class have you set?
2.
And how many referrals have you received?
None.
Thank you. Marcus, how many conversations?
I've had 12 conversations, including the ones today.
Okay, so everything through today. Appointments?
I have an appointment scheduled for later today and then another one on Thursday.
So 2. Any referrals?
Well, one for you,
What?
but none for me right now.
Okay, well that's okay. A referral is giving a referral or receiving a referral.
Okay.
Because in giving a referral, you're getting yourself future money, at least 25%. I hope no one asks for less than 25%. Malia.
I had 3 conversations.
Okay, so yesterday's class.
Yes.
Okay, appointments
I have 1 appointment.
and referrals.
0.
Sheriff.
I just sent out 10 text messages.
Okay.
2
Is
people.
that since yesterday's class? 10?
Oh, yesterday I connected with 3 people, and then with one we have an appointment today later.
So you had 13 conversations? 3 and 10?
No.
3 yesterday, 10 today?
Well, 2 got back to me today. Through
Okay,
text message.
so how
So
many
just say 5.
conversations?
Sorry.
5?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, and how many referrals?
None yet.
Okay. I like the attitude. Yeah. Shaylin?
Yep, I had 8 conversations from yesterday to today.
Okay.
1 appointment and 1 referral.
Awesome. Look at that. So conversations in the group, we've got 25, 33, 41. And we've got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 appointments. And we've got 2 referrals. And who is the winner? Winner, chicken dinner. I think we have a tie between Bob and Marcus. And I say a tie because Bob had 13 conversations, Marcus had 12, but Marcus had a referral, so I make that 13 and then they're tied on appointments. So good job. And I would expect nothing less from our more seasoned agents. And for the new agents, great job. Shaylin, you're kicking butt. You got more across the board. You got everything. So
Watch out for her.
balance, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Balance is really good. So excellent job. Thank you all. Okay, so congratulations. You're at the final power session of Ignite. You're almost there. Okay, so in performing your daily 10-4 activities and tracking your numbers, who uses the tracker? Who knows about the tracker? Okay, so you all know you go to My Tracker and enter in. Nobody can access or see that data. That is a tool just for you. And it gives you that 5-day record of information. I think that's like your own self-accountability partner. So I use the My Tracker every day. And when I'm coaching, I have my agents print it out and bring it to me so that I can see, could you forge those numbers? Yes. But you're just hurting yourself. It's just like, I would rather see zeros and just know that what we're doing isn't working. So how do we change things up to make it work? All right. You are now in the funnel between appointments and agreements. Who's looked at that funnel? Have they talked to you about the funnel before?
Yep.
So I tell people, think of yourself as a Y, and your arms are wide open, and you're catching all the leads, and then the leads become appointments, so now you're face to face with people. The appointments become agreements. What kind of agreements? Buyer representation or listing agreement, right? Or referral agreement even. And your agreements become contracts, maybe not the first one. You might have to write a few in today's environment to get an acceptance. Last 3 I wrote have not been accepted. Kind of a bummer. But you keep writing until you get it to drop. And then contracts become escrows become closings, and closings equal payday. What we live for, payday. Okay, this was not connected, so we can't watch the video, which is a day in the life of a mega agent. And I really want to watch that. So do you think that we would be able to connect off your computer, Bob? Do you think it would work?
Sure.
All right.
Where do I go?
I don't know. I'm going to grab Nicole and ask her to come in and skew it on your computer, and I'll keep talking while she does it. But if we could watch it, it's very short, but it's a good
Do you have an
video.
address?
I don't, so I'm gonna call her to come skew it for me. It's on Ignite on KW Connect, but I don't know how to get there. I have everything bookmarked. Can you come down and load that video on Bob's laptop and we'll just play it anyways? Awesome. Thank you. She's gonna come down and load it up for us, Bob. Alright, so in your activities today, we're on page 11. Your mission, you are tasked to seek out 5 people, asking them 2 questions. Write your top 3 answers below. Be prepared to share with the class. I don't remember asking you 2 questions. They asked you to ask for a referral, and they asked for you to secure an appointment. So I don't think that that's applicable.
But the regular, I don't know how to get there back.
So we'll just talk about the questions instead.
My KW.
What is your advice on getting into effective production as quickly as possible? I already shared with you my advice. My advice is you focus on one thing initially to get launched, and the one thing would be the daily 10-4. That if you do nothing else, but you do the daily 10-4 100%, as the metric calls out, 10, 10, 10, and 10, and you are putting your contacts into command, into the contacts function command, that's 100% of that, and doing just that will allow you to launch your business through your calling, your note cards, adding your contacts, and previewing property. What is your secret to longevity and prosperity in the real estate business? Balance. That's the best advice I can give you. It is easy as a new agent with so much to learn and such excitement to work 15, 18-hour days, day after day after day, and that is not creating balance in your life. Balance in your life is having self-care, having time for your family, your spiritual faith, your interests. That's what's important. So we have it skewed up?
Yep.
Okay, so everyone can either huddle around, and at least we'll hear the audio, but if you want to see it, kind of get in position. It's only about 8 to 10 minutes. Yeah, grab a chair if you want.
Hi, I'm Linda McKissick, and I'll talk to you about an ideal day in the life of a mega agent. First thing in the morning, have to start with getting up and getting my head right. What I've discovered is if I get my head there, my body will show up. So that typically means getting up in the morning, always exercising, getting the blood flowing, and second, reading something either spiritual or motivational, or listening to an audio tape. Jim Rohn happens to be my favorite, so he's always in one of my CD players somewhere so that I can plug him in easily. Just listen to people that are inspirational, because I think all of us need hope every day to go do what we have to do. As we get to the office, the most important thing is, because every business is a lead generation business, is what does that lead generation look like? For me, because I'm at the 7th level, one of the most important things is what key people do I need to talk with that day? And that always pops up first. Do they have what they need to succeed? And then the next thing is, who are the people we need to be doing business with? How have I communicated with them lately? What do I need to do now? Is it a phone call today? Is it a drip campaign? Is it an invitation to something? Looking for how do I communicate with those people that we want to do business with, and how do I keep furthering that relationship and moving it along? I've discovered my business energy is highest earliest in the morning, earliest in the day, and earliest in the week. So I front load my week, Monday being the most difficult day with all the contacts and all the lead generation that I need to do early in the morning. And that frees me up to have the afternoon to kind of just work on plans or projects. Typically what I find is through the week, Monday and Tuesday are heavier, and Wednesday, and by Thursday and Friday it's pretty more entrepreneurial and just off the cuff. And in the evening on Mondays or through the week is, it's always about family, because the reason we do what we do is so that we can build a great life and build great memories with our family. So our kids are very important to us. We're very involved. It's what are we going to do as a family? What do we need to do as a family? When's dinner? Where are we going to go? What are we going to eat? And that kind of rejuvenates me. One of my philosophies is the purpose of business is to fund life. And to me, life is all about family. And as a mega agent, your day might look different, but the key things we have to always remember is certain parts of our day have to look the same. So you might want to think about, where's my head? How can I get my head in the right place? And then we always want to remember that every business has to
Short and sweet. So, Linda McKissick, she said she's a 7th level business owner. Does everyone know what that means? If you read the MREA book, there are 7 levels to your business. And you go from being an individual agent to a mega agent to building a team. And there's different ownership opportunities. You can own a market center, you can own a region. She's at the 7th level, which means she's not interacting and selling on a daily basis. She has a team or multiple teams. She's very big in profit share. She's recruited hundreds of agents over the years, and she makes like $1 million a year just in profit share. Linda McKissick, you'll hear her name over and over again through Keller Williams. She's an icon in the company. And if you're going to family reunion, is anyone going to family reunion here? Okay, next year, put it on your calendar, February.
Yep.
It's every February. I've been with the company 4 years. I've gone to lots of meetings and events, never family reunion. I'm going this year for the first time.
Oh.
Took me 4 years, but you know what? I travel almost every month to something for Keller Williams. So it's hard because most of it's on the mainland. So I'll go for a 1 day or a 2 day meeting, and it costs me 3 or 4 days because you lose a day of travel each way. But I try to hit as much as I can. If there's anything you're ever going to go to and you want to know about it, call me. I've been to the Luxury Summit, Commercial Summit, Mega Camp, which is an August function, and lots of different meetings. I sit on the ALC here for our company, the Agent Leadership Council, so I go to stuff for that in November every year. So I'm really engaged in all the company stuff, but I'm excited about family reunion. So I'll let you know how it is when I get back. So her video touched on exactly what we were talking about, which is how do you have longevity and prosperity in your business? Well, you have prosperity by doing the things you need to do to have a constant funnel or pipeline of clients to work with. It doesn't matter how much you know, or how great you are at writing a contract, or how great you are at holding an escrow together and problem solving if you don't have people to work with. That's like the number one thing. And then balance. You need balance in your life. She talked about exercise. She talked about faith, her family. Not everyone has children. Most of us have families. So maybe it's siblings. Maybe it's your parents. You know, what is your big why? Some people are single with no family, and they're like, I want to have wealth for myself. For women, a lot of women I hear say, I want to never be dependent on another person. They say, I want to be, independent and stable on my own. I want to build wealth. Whatever it is that you want to do, but look to yourself first and set up that balance, because you'll burn yourself out. Can you recover from burnout? Yes, but it makes your early years more challenging. And it's just not worth it, because you're looking for consistency and stability and longevity. This is a career. This is not a job. So look at it that way. In a career, you invest in yourself, both professionally and personally. So, for me, I just started exercising. It's the one thing in my life I have never been able to master. It's not fun for me. I don't look forward to it. Don't like to sweat, but I'm walking every morning for 30 minutes. It's not a huge thing, but to me, it is a huge
It's a
thing.
huge thing.
Okay? So, and now I just got Nicole as an accountability partner. We're at the same hotel in Dallas for family reunion, and I just shared with her. I just started this new thing, walking in the morning for 30 minutes, and she's like, we're in the same hotel. We're going to the gym at 6 o'clock. Every morning we're there. Yes! And the moment I was like, crap. And then it was like, yes, no, not negative, turn it around. I struggle with the very same things you guys do. We're all just people trying to create a great business and lives for ourselves. So figure out what your opportunity is, and later on that opportunity for yourself personally, whether it's I'm going to choose to get 8 hours of sleep a night, I'm going to drink more water to try to be hydrated, I'm going to go to church every Sunday, whatever it is that you want to focus on, put something in your personal life as you're creating all this, because I'm sure if I sat down and talked with you, your lives are business heavy right now and not balanced. So get balanced early on. Okay, make it happen. Any of you can succeed, not everyone will. The ones who do succeed have focus and the ability to concentrate their thoughts and actions on their most important tasks. So let's go over these items and see what your ideas are. How do you create a personal plan and make process your focus?
Time block.
Time block. Okay, that's perfect. Because you're scheduling and you're being intentional. Awesome. What else?
I'm a checklist maker.
Checklist.
Yeah.
That works. Are you one of those people, Shaylin, that has to get everything done on their checklist?
Yeah, or my day isn't completed, work-wise, work-wise.
Yeah.
Motherhood's a little different, but, yeah.
I was told recently that not to focus on getting everything on my list done, just put my top 3 things at the top of the list, so I'm prioritizing as well as listing. Because I used to be one of those people that would sit on Saturday morning and write the 85 things around my house I wanted to do. And my kids, who are now adults and 2 live at home, were like,
Try 4.
are we working all weekend? Like, what the heck? You know?
Yeah.
Now it's 3 max, and I try not to do more than 1. But yeah, make your big list for, this is everything, but today's list, off that list is the top 3.
I got this better. I've actually spreaded the days list into 3 days.
Good.
Yeah, because that would help me. I mean, that's just how my brain works, so.
And at the end of the day, although I want to get a lot done, and I have a lot of responsibilities and priorities, if I just did one thing towards my PB role, one thing towards my business, one thing for my family, one thing for myself, that's 4 things in a day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I just get those 4 things done, and it doesn't even have to be my most important 4 things, although it's great if it is, it's just 4 things. And then I feel like I made progress in those areas of my life today.
Yeah.
And some days I get nothing done in the 4 areas, but one in one area. Celebrate your small wins.
So I feel about laundry.
Yeah. The other thing I learned about checklists recently that might be helpful is don't take what you didn't get done today and roll it on to tomorrow. Make a new list and again reprioritize what are my top 3 things in that area. So with 4 areas of my life, I might have 12 things on my list for a day. But if I don't get 10 of them done, it's not they roll on to my new 12 things plus 10 from yesterday. It's still, what are my top 3 in that area? Or the top 3 for the day? So that you don't overwhelm yourself, you know? It's easy for us to pile on more than we can accomplish. How do you time block to get focused? What do you do?
Schedule.
You schedule?
That's what
That
I
provides focus for
That's what
you?
I did not do before, so that's
Do
what
you
I'm-
see a change in your
Oh,
life,
yeah.
Bob, in
Oh,
doing
yeah.
that?
Yeah, a lot of this stuff. I mean, the vast majority of this I was doing, but there was several things that I wasn't doing. And it's gonna make a lot of difference because I wasn't blocking time, I wasn't lead generating, I wasn't doing any of that stuff. I certainly wasn't writing notes. So
I know.
if I walk out of here and just do that, I think it's gonna make a difference.
Exponential growth.
Yeah.
Just with that.
That's gonna make a difference.
Marcus.
If I could tie both these questions together, I've finished for the second time, the One Thing book.
Yes.
And that's kind of, both of these questions really pertain to that.
Yes.
They talk about the focus question in that, which is what is the one thing I can be doing right now? Or you can do it with anything. What is the one thing I can be doing to grow my business? What is the one thing I can be doing to finish this project? And they encourage you to ask the focusing question constantly. And like you were saying with the list making, it's those priority things that, you know, you want to make sure you get that one thing down before you move on to the next. And if you don't do it today, they say a lot of times once you've gotten the big things done, the little things will fall into place without your even trying to.
Yes.
And I found it's very true. I found it reminded me of my first job washing dishes.
Yes.
They used to tell us wash the big dishes first, because you will be shocked at how few dishes there actually are here once you get the big pots and pans out of the way.
That's
It
true.
looks like so much more, but if you just get those 3 pans out of the way before you know it, there's tons of room for everything.
That's a good
That's a
analogy.
great analogy.
Yeah.
And the podcast also, the One Thing is really great too. They talk about, just like she was saying in the video,
Yes.
front loading your day, front loading your week, and making sure you get everything done early, because that way you have the rest of the day to kind of improvise and to or to spend time with your family or do the things you really love.
Absolutely. That's great insight. Any other comments? Okay. How do you use accountability to keep your focus? How do you hold yourselves accountable is probably the first question.
Find an accountability partner.
Find an accountability partner is a great way.
Our coaches.
Coaches
us
are a great
accountable, yeah.
opportunity as well, absolutely. The My Tracker tool,
That's what I wrote down,
Yeah.
daily 10-4 and track.
because no one sees that, no one from the Market Center or KW dials in and looks at that, there's no access to that but you. So even when I was coaching, I couldn't go in and look at it, I would say, can you print it and bring it? And I told all my agents I worked with at the time, I want you to track, and I'm gonna help you, and that's the accountability piece, is let's look at, not if you did it as not, or not as much as, but when you didn't do it, what was those stumbling blocks so that we can problem solve, remove those obstacles, and get you to a better place. I love that you are drinking out of a real glass.
Yeah, I keep
That
it
is
in
so
my-
green, that is awesome.
I have a girlfriend staying with me, and she's very into the environment. So
I love that.
she put it in my little basket.
I am trying to be that way, and I just looked at your basket and went, I'm buying a basket and I'm buying a glass
Yeah, then I
glass.
have, she bought me this for the coffee this morning. She's like my mother, and she's younger than me. I'm
I-
like, this is great.
She's making great environmental choices
Yeah.
for you, and again, that's an area of my life, like, I know I should do that, but I'm like, why, what's the disconnect that I don't do that? I'm gonna go buy a basket today. I love that.
Yeah, it's my life in here.
I love that. I think it's so cool. All right, that's my one thing I learned from you guys today. How do I support my vision to be more green? All right, how do you make sure your environment supports your focus? You bring your glass.
Yeah. Your basket.
Do you all have a space, either an office you work out of or a home office space where this is where I've set up my space and I can make my calls, I can work quietly?
I'm doing it now.
Yeah. If you haven't, go in and do that in your home. I tell people, even if it's a closet in the hallway, take out a shelf, build in, you can build in a desk with 2 little studs, 2x4 studs on the end and a piece of shelving or a piece of countertop material, and boom, you got a desk in an existing closet or an alcove area and a couple shelves. You've got places for binders, boom, just have it somewhere close to an electrical outlet. I actually had an outlet put into a closet that I converted into a home office, and I loved it because I could close the doors, and for first while it worked, closing the doors, and then I ended up taking them off and putting a barn door on, so I can slide it. It just made it easier to get in and function and everything. And then there was just enough room, I could slide my chair in and slide the thing back, and it's got my printer, and it's done. And I'm like, that's my space. People come to my home and I don't have my home office in the living room, which I used to have. They would be like, wow, you work a lot. I had a whole room just for my office, but I'm like, yeah, I need to downsize that. So if you don't have it, create it. It will support your focus. Anything else you do in your environment to support your focus?
Like a vision board.
Okay, that's awesome.
I like
It's a must. You all should have vision boards.
My fiance thinks I'm crazy. He's
No.
like, what are you doing wasting your time cutting out things in magazines? I'm like, to me, this is like, we're very different.
It is
minded.
statistically proven that those people who revisit their goals several times a day reach their goals. And that could be a typed out list of your goals. I take a dry erase marker and I write on my mirrored closet door and my bathroom mirror. You can do that with a dry erase. Make sure it's a dry erase marker. My daughter did it once, so the regular marker does not work so well. But with dry erase, you can do it. And I will put affirmations. Sometimes I'll, cut out and tape up affirmation or a motivation piece. You can write your goals. I have them in my bathroom mirror. I have it on my refrigerator. I have it in my car. I have it in my home office. I have it in my presentation book. Everywhere I go, I visit my goals probably 10 to 12 times a day. Those people who revisit their goals reach their goals. And having a vision board, many people are visual versus verbal. So if you're typing the list, that's still a verbal to your brain. So seeing it visually, that great vacation wherever it is you want to go, or that car that you want to move up to. And everyone has different things on their board. I mean, for some people it might be donating to their church, going on a mission trip. It doesn't have to be material things. I kind of shifted in recent years from material stuff to more experiences. Like I thought I wanted the bigger house, the oceanfront house, and now I'm like, no, I want a small house here. I want a condo in Honolulu. I want a condo in Colorado. My one daughter lives in Colorado. I just want to be able to travel amongst my small little places, my holes in the wall. And that's just a shift in where I am at my life versus, I've had a Porsche, I've had expensive cars. I drive a Mercedes. Right now I'm kind of over my car. I'm getting ready to get rid of it because I'm just like, I live on Maui. I don't really need a Mercedes. It's a nice car, but it's not the end all. 10 years ago, I would have been like, I can't wait so I can have a Mercedes. Sometimes you get those goals and you're like, yeah, that's not what I thought it was going to be like. So be willing to adjust and say maybe that picture needs to come off, but make your vision boards. I've always wanted to do that at the beginning of the year or the end of the prior year for agents, have like a workshop to do vision boards as a group. And we should do that because I just think that's awesome. I'm going to put that on my list of things we need to do before the end of March.
How has it changed? What are you taking off? What are you adding?
Exactly.
What are you changing?
I think that's great because if you have one, you need to
Because
revisit
it's
it.
different than when you were 22.
I do my
Oh.
vision board twice a year and update it twice a year. Usually the beginning of the year and middle of the year, like June or July. And it's just because it's constantly evolving. So for me, I want to be greater in philanthropy this year. That's one of my goals, is to give back more. So yeah, we will do that. And I put a note on there. We're going to have a vision board workshop. Okay.
That'd be fun.
How do you keep your energy to maintain your focus?
Exercise, meditate, and front load your week in the day.
Front load your week in your day. Awesome. I just hit the wrong button. Let me pull this out of delete since I just put my note into delete and it's gone into nowhere. We'll create a new note. Okay, say that again.
I said exercise, meditate, and front load your day and your week.
Awesome. Any other suggestions?
I think sleeping well. I recently stopped drinking and I noticed a massive, I wasn't like a raging alcoholic, but I would like drink, a glass of wine, a glass of red wine while I'm cooking, then I'd have one with dinner. But just that, I just got into this like routine of like, after I pick up my son from tennis, I start cooking and I have my glass of wine and but I stopped at the beginning of this year just to kind of cleanse. And I see a major difference in my attitude. I'll wake up early and I hate exercising, but we got an elliptical machine in the garage.
Nice.
Set up a television, and so I'll get into a series, which is a half an hour, and I'll just go on the elliptical machine for a half an hour and I look forward to my show, in the morning.
I love that.
But that
idea.
was like a major change. At first I was like, oh my God, having withdrawals, but it's a great change. And
That's huge.
yeah.
That's huge. I love that. Any other comments?
I just recently, so I used to take vitamins in the morning
Yes.
and then think that, okay, it'll give me some energy throughout the day, but it's actually, my other half told me that it's proven that if you take it before you go to bed, it gives it to your body so much better than in the morning.
Because you're not
So,
expending and it's
right.
during your repair
Exactly.
time and all of that.
So I started doing that when I was pregnant and I saw like load of difference. And then, now that I'm so busy, I forget to take my vitamins, but I have it right on the nightstand so that I know, with my glass of
I'm
water.
going to bed,
Yeah.
pop the vitamin.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you for
just
sharing
a
that.
little difference,
Yeah, just tiny.
Yeah.
Just tiny.
And I feel so much better when I wake up. I'm a night owl,
Yeah.
so when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, I need to get coffee, and then, but just changing that schedule to
Yeah.
taking my vitamins at night before bed, it made so much of a difference. Now I'm like, okay, I can wait a couple hours before I
Yeah.
get some coffee.
I love that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, so we're gonna go on to page 15, accountability. So in the 6 personal perspectives, we learned accountability is a tool for continually changing the results in your life in those areas that matter most, your 20%, which we kind of talked about in detail up to this point. Goal achievement is a direct result of accountability. To support your goal setting, we recommend use the 411 productivity tool and your My Tracker. So does everyone know what the 411 is? It's a form. If you're in coaching, ask your coach about it. They usually use it. It breaks down your goals for every 4 weeks, feeds into your monthly goal. So each week you're having the goal that's meeting your monthly goal, and your monthly goals are meeting your annual goal. So when you look at your annual goals, you break them down. If you don't have a coach, come to me and I will find a coach who can work through this form with you. Super helpful. I do a 411 every month, and I use it all the time. It breaks your life down into the big rocks, and so annual goals are those big rocks, and they say you should set aside about 1 to 3 days every year to really be mindful, intentional, to think about what you want your annual goals to be. So I usually go away Thanksgiving weekend or the weekend after Thanksgiving. I go somewhere. Sometimes it's on Maui, sometimes it's on another island, but I go by myself without my family. I take the red book and I take my planner and I take a couple notepads, and I will sit by the pool and just work on my goals. What were my numbers year to date? How have I grown from year to year over the last 3 years? Do I have balance? What's out of balance and I need to spend more effort on or pull back some on? What do I need to tweak in my goals? And you think, man, that's a lot of time. You cannot write your goals in an hour. You can't really develop what those steps are going to be to accomplish all this, because we tell you to look at all areas of your life. So it's not just about your real estate business. Get clear on your big rocks. Those are your 5 to 7 key goals that you must achieve in order to feel you've had a successful year. So I tell people those don't only have to be production type goals. They can be things like, I'm going to start working with a chart of accounts and tracking my finances of my business. Is that something that's generating business for you? No, but it's telling you how much money you're spending. Are you spending it in the right categories? Because there's recommendations and ratios in the red book, the MREA book. And how do I right size my business? Some people are spending too much money on marketing and lead generation, and other people are not spending enough. So you look at that and you're like, okay, by implementing a chart of accounts and tracking all my income and expenses, I can now see where am I in my business and how do I right size that? And that's really an important tool. Annual goals should reflect each key area of your life, which we talked about. There can be as many categories, but we found the following 4 areas to be most useful. So that's in your job, what will you do? In your role. You all are main agents. Nobody's on a team here, correct? Well, Sharice, you're on a team. Okay, so your member as a team would be your job function. What is my responsibility to the team? Am I a buyer's agent? Am I a listing agent? Am I an ISA, inside sales agent, where I'm generating and making calls? So you want to really get clear on the goals for me and my job role. The rest of you who are what I call rainmakers, you're the main agent who's going to grow your business to be a mega agent and then a team leader of your team at some point. What do you want your business or your team to do? So even if you're just an agent of one, it's what do I want my business to do this year? Everything I'm doing is to set up my business for growth, to bring in an admin, to bring in another agent, to grow my business. Then personal. What do you desire to happen personally for your health, your family, spiritually, education-wise? I tell people, this is a renewal year, so you have to complete your 20 hours of CE this year. For new agents, do you have CE requirements? to renew at the end of the year?
I have to ask Kelly.
Yeah, I have to find out and look. You might not have CE this year, you may only have half the time, but you need to, if you don't know how many hours you need, that's your next question to your broker or your coach. How many hours of CE do I have to get? If you were already an agent at the beginning of the cycle, like you, Bob and Marcus, you have 20 hours, which includes 8 hours. 4 is core A and 4 is core B. Those are mandatory for all real estate agents. And then you would have 12 hours of elective credit. So you want to get your 20 hours of CE so you can renew your license in November. We send in those applications in November. So you want to plan to complete all your CE no later than the end of October. Okay? So you can renew in November. But also I tell agents, sit down and decide what is one designation I don't have that I'd like to have. And then plan that into your year. We're only at the beginning of February. You could still do this for this year and say, you know, I want to earn a certificate, or I want to earn a designation, or I want to complete some classes towards, you know, there's the CRS designation, there's the GRI designation. GRI is usually a multi-year process to take all those classes. Some of the designations come to Maui and they're a 1-day or a 2-day class. So start looking at the classes being offered through RAM and through KW, and what designations do I want to take. Maybe you take one class a quarter, that's a half-a-day class, towards your designation. That's an investment in your professional competence. And then personal financial, what improvements do you want to make in your net worth? Do you want to reduce your liabilities? I'm a huge Dave Ramsey fan. So if any of you have debt and want to pay off debt, come talk to me. I coach agents just on how to get debt free for free, just because it's how I pay it forward. But there are lots of strategies you can use to get debt free, or to build wealth, either increasing your current investments or accumulating more assets. The 3 of you are pretty young in the back row, but think about the big picture. You know, do I want to work till I'm 70 and get Social Security, or would I like to retire at 50? You know, it's all doable if you create a plan. Monthly goals. You should set aside 1 to 3 hours a month to rethink your goals. Again, I usually do this the last business day of the month, and I put it in my calendar. And I sometimes do it in my office because the numbers are right there and I can pull and print. Other times I'll go to the parks, by the beach. I love the water. Or Starbucks. Sometimes the water can be distracting, especially during whale season. But you want to spend time to reflect on your month, look at what you've achieved, and position yourself towards your goals. Did I make strides towards my annual goals this month? If not, how do I tweak the remaining months for the year? Adjust that. Never adjust your goals down, even if you're not making strides to it. You're month 4, month 5, month 6. You can always tweak at month 6. Don't ever drop your goals. Hold true to what you set, but look at how do I get greater traction towards gaining those goals. Remember, when you're setting your monthly goals, you want to put first things first. Any goals that are other goals hinge on should have the highest priority, and you should have no more than 5 to 7 monthly goals. Monthly goals could be, I want to improve my financial accountability. That would be your goal. And then your action steps would be, I want to do these 5 things for the month to hit that goal. And those 5 things, you take 1 or 2 into each week. So now, you know, week 1, I'm going to do this goal towards my monthly goal. Week 2, I'm doing this one towards my monthly goal. And my monthly goal supports my annual goal. So by taking that time at the beginning of the year and the beginning of each month, you're really revisiting it. I also take Saturday night or Sunday morning 30 minutes to revisit my week. I look at my whole calendar. What do I have on the upcoming week? Like I just said, I have a new listing that's gonna get signed this week, Friday morning, and will probably go live Saturday or Monday. So I'm already penciling that into next week, which I'll revisit this weekend. Okay, the listing's signed. What do I have to do to turn this live? And put those marketing activities into my next week's schedule. Your weekly goals should be considered as levers. So again, it's lifting you towards your monthly goals. Those are specific things. So levers are goals that are mechanisms or how-tos of achievements. For example, I will contact 10 people each day. So that's a specific step that you're gonna do during the day to meet your weekly goal. And that is consistent with the daily 10-4. Funny how that works. So if you put that in, so your week is only gonna do one thing to meet your monthly goal. And you have 5 days if you're working full-time, 5 or 6 days to get that done. Look at how you can leverage things while you're doing other things, such as an open house. The minute that I plan that I'm at a 4-hour open house and I wanna spend 1 hour in between clients to work on this one item, I have a very full open house with no time. I don't know what it is about the universe, because for myself, I want to be present and very intentional and focused when I have someone in my open house. I have seen agents that are at their computer, someone walks in, they barely look up, hey, look around, and I'm thinking,
Whoa.
everything we do is to get someone in front of us, whether that's an appointment in their home or someone walking into an open house. You should be doing nothing but being engaged with that person when they are there in front of you, okay? So when I see that, I'm like, oh, and then I saw someone say, well, I was working on my goal I set for my open house. That is last. That is if you're there alone and nobody's walking in, which if you've done your pre-work, you shouldn't have nobody walking in. So if you've just on a whim said, in 30 minutes I'm gonna pop up a sign at this vacant condo and hold it open for 2 hours, okay, you might not have anyone walk in. But if you've planned an open house, you should have invited the neighbors, you should have put it into the MLS, you should have sent an email blast, you should have made flyers, you should have gone and knocked on the 20 doors closest to the condo, you talked to the building manager, whatever. If you've done your pre-work, you should have people coming in. So don't let one overtake the other. Be focused on what is my intent for each activity. Again, your weekly goals are not your to-do list. They are rather a have-to-do list. Decide what you need to do that week to achieve your monthly goal. So if your monthly goal is, I want 2 listings and 2 escrows, then those steps that bring you to those should be in your weekly goals. You should be breaking down those activities of what you need to do. For example, I have a list of buyers I'm working with actively. We haven't found what we need due to low inventory. I need to be putting time into my schedule to review the MLS, call other agents that have recent closings in those buildings or those neighborhoods, call other agents that have sold in the last 6 months in those neighborhoods, call a top producer. Hey, I have a buyer for this, do you have any suggestions, things you do that work for you? Because now you're learning and you're implementing something. So don't ever feel like you're stuck. You should limit, go ahead.
As far as that goes, I've been looking at farming at EL Parkside,
Okay,
and I've looked up what agents are killing it there.
yeah,
So in that case, like you're describing, if I'm not finding what I want for my clients, I'm calling maybe those agents that are crushing it there at EL Parkside and saying, hey, do you have any pocket listings or do you have any upcoming listings? Is that the conversation
you
basically?
can.
But is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, if you have an agent that has at least 35% market share, then I would call them,
Okay.
because they probably have it dialed in. They probably know every owner in that complex. Don't not farm a neighborhood or a condo because your perception is that someone is a top producer and has that market covered. What I tell people to do is pull from the MLS from the last 6 months, all of the listings and all of the pendings and all of the closings. And just make it, columns on a piece of paper. Listings, pending, so actives, pending, solds, last 6 months. And you write down who was the listing agent and who was the selling agent and put their name under the column. If they have more than one, you just put a little mark next to them and look at it. And then you calculate that. Does anyone have 35% or greater of the listings 35% or greater of the closed sales, or if you put it all in one pot, 35%. If they do, then that's what's considered a saturated market. That agent owns that market. And that would be a market you're gonna have to market in probably 2 to 3 years to really break in and make traction. That doesn't mean don't do it. It means you just have to plan financially. I'm gonna be mailing every month. I'm gonna be walking that neighborhood, every quarter. I'm gonna be making calls in that neighborhood. You just have to know there's gonna be investment of time. I had a top producer who's no longer with us, who said to me, I want to market in Wailea, but I don't dare because it's a saturated market. And so they wanted to do Pulani, Wailea Kai, and Kealoha. And we broke it down and we looked at each of those neighborhoods separately. And not one agent had 35% of listings, sales, or combined in any one neighborhood. The only agent that overlapped at all in those 3 neighborhoods was Bob Hansen. And he had like 1 sale in Kealoha and like a couple things in Pulani, but that was it. He overlapped in 2 neighborhoods, but in neither one did he have 35% market share. So your perception that I can't work in that neighborhood, I can't sell luxury,